But I want you to see that Jesus positioned his disciples and you and I with this realization, you will always stand at odds with the culture you live with. And he didn't say that, but I'm going to this is Richard's addition to that, because I think it's a natural following. And if you're not being distinct, the question begs, how closely are you living to what Jesus said to be? Because Jesus was distinct from the culture, and he was persecuted because of it. He was crucified by the religious leaders because he stood at odds to them. He had a different way of thinking, and it came out in the way he talked, but he not only thought differently, he acted differently. He violated traditions. He did things differently, and then, and even worse, he did it in a loving way. And he was loving and caring, and the things that he got indicted for was for doing good things, because his life not only was an ideology, it was an ideology that caused him to believe it enough to act on it in his life. And so now, verse 13, he continues, because all the Sermon on the Mount is just one continuous flow of gems, of ideas, and then another idea, and then another idea, and they have a commonality in that they are his Magna Carta, his way of laying out, this is what the kingdom of God should look like. And so he goes on to this, you are the salt of the earth. Notice that. You're going to be different, and you're going to be persecuted because you stand out and often will be in conflict with the ideology and the morals and the standards and the politics of the world you're in. You will stand apart because of it. But I want you to be the salt. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? New Living says if it loses its flavor, can it be made salty again? In other words, it loses its purpose. When believers stop being salty, they lose their purpose. The kingdom is thrown off because now we're not fulfilling why Jesus positioned us there. We are just positioned, in a sense, between heaven and hell. We are God's ambassadors to bring two kingdoms together in a world that doesn't agree with what we say or think. But yet, there's the mission. So what is a believer's mission? A believer's mission is to be salt. He says if it loses its flavor, it's not any good other than to just be walked on and trampled on. And I think I'm just going to say this, some of the failure of the church is that we have not lived distinctly enough in a way that matters enough so that we are relegated literally to the side of the path.